Level 1. The Oblivious. Motto: wait, was that me? This is the lowest rung of stupidity. The least dumb of the stupid. The people who seem blissfully unaware of what's going on around them. It's not mean-spirited, it's not even intentional. They simply move through life clueless to the world outside their own head. You see them every day. The airline passengers swinging their backpack down the center aisle, smacking every person along the way without even noticing. The shopper blocking the entire grocery lane, scanning the cereal boxes on one side while leaving their cart parked on the other. The friend searching frantically for their glasses while they're sitting right on top of their head. Or the person who walks straight out of the bathroom with toilet paper trailing behind them, having no idea. Oblivious stupidity thrives on distraction and forgetfulness. They're not trying to be difficult, they're not trying to be funny. They're just tuned into a slightly different frequency. One where the signals from the outside world barely get through. Level 2. The Confused. Motto: you mean that's not right? These are the people who speak with the wide-eyed certainty of a child, but the logic of a puppy. Sweet, harmless, even endearing, but when they open their mouths, the words tumble out in ways that make you wonder if they ever paid attention in school. They'll tell you the best time to visit the sun would be at night because that's when it's cooler. Or they'll insist that if you drive faster, you'll use less gas because you get there quicker. Ask them how many months have 28 days, and they'll confidently answer 1 every time. What makes it funny isn't so much the mistake itself, it's the look of total shock when you correct them. Eyes wide, head tilted, as if you've just revealed a conspiracy. For about 3 seconds they believe you, and then they're back to explaining why chocolate milk probably does come from brown cows. Level 3. The Group Project Freeloader. Motto: we're all in this together. We all know that one kid who never did any of the work, never opened the book, never typed a single sentence, but somehow they still showed up grinning on presentation day, ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with the people who carried the whole thing on their backs. That's the Group Project Freeloader, the moocher who contributes nothing but still walks away with the grade, the credit, and probably the last slice of pizza. At work, they've evolved into the coworker whose biggest contribution is adding their name to the shared doc 5 minutes before the deadline, so it looks like they pulled their own weight. And when you call them out, they always have an excuse. I was gonna do it, but my laptop died. Again. It's not malicious stupidity, not exactly. It's more of a parasitic one, the social tapeworm of every team. They don't sink the ship, they just cling to the boat while everyone else is rowing and then act like they deserve a medal when it reaches shore. Level 4. The Conspiracy Theorist. Motto: the truth is out there. This isn't ordinary stupidity. This is stupidity with ambition. The conspiracy theorist doesn't just miss the obvious. They invent an entirely new reality to replace it. Flat Earth? Of course. The moon landing? Hollywood soundstage. Dinosaurs? Bones that were planted. And every time you ask, but why? They've got an answer that requires 3 diagrams, a shadowy government agency, and at least one guy named Gary who knows a guy. With a rock-solid conviction, they'll stare you straight in the eye while explaining that streetlights are really data collection towers, or that mattress stores are just elaborate money laundering fronts. Because honestly, who needs that many mattresses? The world isn't confusing to them. It's perfectly clear, because they've remixed it into a story where they're the hero for seeing through the lies. And the best part? You can never convince them otherwise. Every correction, every fact, every attempt at logic only proves their point deeper. See? That's exactly what they want you to think. Level 5. The Common Sense Deficient. Motto: it seemed like a good idea at the time. This is the guy who decides to test if the stove is hot by pressing his whole palm onto the burner. The woman who uses a tube of superglue for eyelash adhesive because it was all she had on hand. The genius who decides to stick a fork in a toaster while it's still plugged in because how else are you supposed to get the bread out? They're not daredevils. They're not innovators. They're missing something more basic. That little inner voice most of us have. The one that whispers, maybe just don't. Without it, every obvious red flag looks like an invitation. They'll yank a fire alarm to see what happens. They'll balance on a rolling chair to change a light bulb instead of grabbing a step stool. They'll test if a wire is live by touching it, and when it shocks the heck out of them, they'll act surprised. For them, life is less about caution and more about trial and error, heavy on the error. The rest of us shake our heads, while the ER staff just roll their eyes, because they know this brand of stupidity has no shortage of repeat customers. Level 6. The Overconfident Idiot. Motto: well, technically, these people turn every conversation into a migraine. You know the type. The one who constantly jumps in with authority, interrupting and explaining things they don't actually understand. The overconfident idiot is the know-it-all who knows nothing and irritates everyone. They're the guy correcting a mechanic after watching a 5-minute car repair reel. The coworker who interrupts the IT team to explain how the servers just need to be rebooted. The friend who insists you're allergic to gluten because they heard the word celiac once and decided they're basically a nutritionist now. What makes them unbearable isn't just the ignorance, it's the sheer volume of their confidence. They can bulldoze a room with their certainty, leaving everyone else too stunned to say anything. And when they're proven wrong, which is inevitable, they don't learn. They pivot instantly. Well, that's what I said. Level 7. The Darwin Award nominee, also known as Florida Man. Motto: hey bro, watch this. This is stupidity pushed past recklessness into legend. The kind that makes bystanders instinctively reach for their phones, not to call for help, but to hit record. The Darwin Award nominee isn't content with risky shortcuts or careless mistakes. No, they're out here actively auditioning for natural selection. They're the guy who thinks the zoo sign that says "do not climb fence" is more of a suggestion than a rule. The thrill seeker who tries to launch themselves off the roof into a swimming pool, only to discover midair that the pool is empty. The camper who spots a wild bear and runs toward it, hoping to snap a selfie. Or the moron who decides to fire up a charcoal grill indoors because the weather wasn't cooperating. These are stunts, dares, and bad ideas taken way too far. The kind that start with laughter and end with flashing lights, fire alarms, or someone's wife screaming, "What were you thinking?" And while most of us watch with horror, they're grinning the whole way through, convinced that this is their big moment. Indeed, it is. Just not the way they think. You'd think that was as bad as it gets, but there's one final tier, the one that scrapes the absolute bottom of the barrel. Welcome to Level 8, Transcendent Stupidity. Motto: I'm not wrong, physics is. These are the people convinced their IQ is off the charts, that Einstein was close, but they've really cracked the code, and that anyone who doesn't follow their logic is simply too blind to see. They're the blowhards filling up every Facebook comment section with arguments no one asked for, typing with the certainty of prophets while misspelling half the words. You can't reason with them. You can't ignore them. They just keep going, louder and louder, as if volume equals truth. What makes it transcendent isn't just the stupidity, it's the scale. Ordinary stupidity touches stoves or blocks grocery aisles. This level argues with physicists that gravity is fake, declares they've disproven evolution because if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Or brags they've solved the energy crisis forever, while standing ankle-deep in the flooded basement they just wired themselves. And the worst part? They believe it all. Absolutely. With a conviction so relentless it drowns out reason and patience alike. Everyone else can see right through them, that they're not just wrong, not just clueless, but dangerously dumb. The kind of stupid that makes you step back because you know what's coming next. A 2-hour rant that somehow ends with them insulting your profile picture, and the only thing left to say is, "Okay, buddy." If you've made it this far, congrats. You now officially know more about stupidity than most of the people featured in it. Drop a comment with the dumbest thing you've ever seen someone do, or admit which level you secretly belong to.